You are in my French classroom right now. I have 30 desks arranged in a traditional fashion, 5 rows of 6 desks going back. Right now my room is a mess. I've had 100 different projects turned in the last 3 days, and they're all separated right now by class. And I've got various food items over here that my students have brought in. But I would like to go ahead and show you a little bit of what I do on my interactive whiteboard, also known as a smartboard, and what it can do. This first thing I have here is a little screen that will go down. And you can use this if you've got notes but you don't want your students to get ahead of themselves. I teach French. Here is a verb, and I can go through the various conjugations of it in order without the students getting ahead of themselves. And I can discuss each item as I go if I would choose to do that. The next screen is just something that is on the smartboard. It's a coin flipper. I use this once in a while when deciding who's going to go first if we're playing a game or doing an activity. All I do is hit start. The students tell me when to stop it, and it ends up on heads or tails. The next thing is a timer. This is nice if you have your students working on something and you want them to do it only for a set amount of time. The smartboard has noise associated with it. All I need to do is set the amount of time I want them to have. Hit this button. It counts down. The students can see how much time they have left. But when their time's up, they can hear it as well. Next, I have a notebook up where I'm just writing different things on it. In this case, I wrote "She is beautiful" in French. But I can do different things with this. I can have it recognize the different languages, in this case, French. I can have it clone whatever it is I've written. I can move those things around. If I want to rotate, I can rotate. I can also make it go into a various font like Comic Sans or Times New Roman if I chose to do that as well. Finally, on the smartboard, we have what's called a recorder. What I did was I wrote that, but maybe I don't want the students to see it right away. So I can play it back, and it'll come up with what I wrote, how I wrote it. And that's what I have for the smart software, but what else you can do? Basically, if you can do it on a computer, you can do it on a smartboard. Here's an example of a worksheet that I would give my students. I can go over the answers with my students on this one. On this worksheet, I can go over the answers with my students, and I can write it down, and they can then check and correct their answers. I could have students come up here and write down the answers if I chose to do that. Okay. Next, I have a PowerPoint presentation. You can show a PowerPoint on your smartboard as well. And again, it's just like a computer. You can come up here. You can start it off from the beginning. Every time you want to advance your slide, you just need to hit the smartboard, and it'll go on and advance the slides there. You can show videos on your smartboard. You can get on the internet, look up things, just a lot of different things you can do on this smartboard. The smartboard itself doesn't really have apps you can purchase. It just has different functions associated with it. But what you can do is you can take an iPad and hook it up with a cable to the smartboard, and anything you've got on your iPad, you can then project up on the smartboard. You can show DVDs or VHS tapes if you still have those on your smartboard. You just need to hook your cable up to the smartboard's cables. And there you go. Thank you.